Steely Dan's Aja is more than an album. It's an experience, a masterclass in jazz-infused rock. A deep well of pristine studio magic that has fascinated audiophiles and musicians for decades. Fagen and Walter Becker created something that defies trends and lives in a sonic world of its own. From the impeccable production to the sharp, enigmatic lyrics, every note of Aja carries purpose. What makes Aja so revered? It is an album that rewards those who listen closely. Every instrument sits perfectly in the mix, every solo feels like a statement, and every groove locks in with effortless precision. The session musicians brought their A-game, delivering performances that have become legendary. This is not just music. This is a blueprint for sonic perfection. For those who collect vinyl, obsess over high-fidelity sound, or appreciate the craftsmanship behind a great record, Aja is a gold standard. It is the kind of album you put on when you want to experience the music at its highest level. This is a journey through every track, uncovering the genius that keeps this record on the turntables of those who truly understand what makes great music timeless. The opening moments of Aja set the tone with Black Cow, a track that moves with a smooth, unshakable confidence. The bass line walks with purpose, cool and steady, while the electric piano lays down a foundation that feels effortless. The groove is sleek, polished, and undeniably Steely Dan. Lyrically, Black Cow is a tale of disillusionment. The protagonist sees through the lies, the late-night excuses, the empty apologies. Yet, there is a strange acceptance in the delivery, a resignation wrapped in jazz-infused melancholy. The phrase Black Cow itself is layered with meaning. It could be the root beer float, a symbol of something once sweet, now gone bitter. It could be a metaphor for indulgence, regret, or something even more abstract. This is the beauty of Steely Dan. They never hand you a simple answer. The backing vocals glide in with effortless precision, layering the track with warmth. The horn section punctuates the groove with just the right amount of energy, never overpowering but always present. This is what Steely Dan does best. Every detail is deliberate, every sound has its place, and nothing is wasted. From the first note, Aja lets you know that you are in for something special, and this is just the beginning. The title track of Aja is more than a song, it is a journey, a 7-minute odyssey that moves through shifting moods, complex rhythms, and moments of pure instrumental brilliance. It is where jazz and rock intertwine so seamlessly that the boundaries between them vanish. This is Steely Dan at their most ambitious, their most refined, their most fearless. From the opening chords, there is a sense of mystery. The melody glides effortlessly, floating over an arrangement that is rich yet restrained. The groove builds like a slow-burning fire. Every note carefully placed, every instrument given room to breathe. And then there is Steve Gadd. Gadd's drum work on Aja is legendary. Not just in Steely Dan's world, but in music history. His solo is controlled explosion of rhythm, a masterclass in technique and feel. He plays like he is weaving a story, each fill, each roll, each perfectly executed accent, adding to the tension and release. Musicians have studied this performance for decades, trying to decode its magic, but the truth is, some things cannot be replicated. They have to be felt. Then there are the lyrics, always enigmatic, always open to interpretation. Who is Aja? A muse? A dream? A place that exists somewhere between reality and imagination? The words never give a clear answer, but they do not need to. The beauty of Steely Dan's writing is that it invites you in, gives you just enough to hold on to, then lets you find your own meaning. There is something hypnotic about this track, the way it rises and falls, the way the musicians push and pull, the way it feels both precise and deeply emotional. It is a moment in time, captured with such clarity that it never fades. Every listen reveals something new, and that is the mark of true greatness. Deacon Blues, a song I remember well from my teenage years. You know, some songs speak to ambition, others speak to failure. Deacon Blues does both. It is an anthem for the dreamers who never quite reach the stars, for the ones who chase perfection, knowing it may always be just out of reach. There is something undeniably human about that struggle. That is why this song lingers. Donald Fagen's voice carries a quiet resignation, a man telling his own story, even if it is wrapped in metaphor. The character in Deacon Blues wants the life of jazz greats, the rebels, the ones who walk the line between brilliance and self-destruction. Miles Davis comes to mind. He wants to be the expanding man, to live without limits, to play his own way, and yet the name he chooses for himself is Deacon Blues, a title soaked in sorrow, as if he already knows how his story ends. Then there's the music. The production shimmers like city lights reflecting on wet pavement. The chords stretch and sway, never rushed, always smooth. And in the middle of it all, a saxophone solo that feels like a sigh. It is longing and loneliness wrapped in melody, a perfect reflection of the song's soul. Walter Becker and Donald Fagen were always meticulous in their craft. Every detail mattered, every instrument had its place, but Deacon Blues feels effortless, as if it was always meant to exist this way. It is a song for those who reach for greatness even when they know the fall is inevitable. That kind of honesty is rare, and it is why Deacon Blues will always resonate. Some songs sound effortless. They glide along, bright and infectious, pulling listeners in with hooks so smooth they feel inevitable. Peg is one of those songs. But effortless does not mean simple. Behind that shimmering groove is a level of craftsmanship only Steely Dan could achieve. From the jump, Peg is pure bounce. That bass line moves with precision, crisp and funky, locking in with Bernard Purdie's signature shuffle. Then comes the vocal magic. Donald Fagen's dry, knowing delivery backed by Michael McDonald's velvet harmonies. McDonald's layered vocals are so unmistakable, so perfect, that they became a benchmark in pop recording. His background parts alone could carry the song to greatness. And then there's the guitar solo. The story of this solo is legendary. Becker and Fagen were known for their perfectionism, cycling through top-tier session players until they got exactly what they wanted. Peg saw multiple guitarists step into the booth, only to be sent packing. Then came Jay Graydon. He delivered a solo that danced across the track with a cool, fluid touch. It was sharp, melodic, unforgettable, and it earned its place as one of the most celebrated solos in pop history. Steely Dan may have had a reputation for complexity, but Peg proves they knew how to craft a pop song without sacrificing an ounce of their signature polish. The groove is undeniable, the vocals shine, the solo is legendary, and it is the kind of song that sounds fresh every time the needle drops. Some journeys never really end. That is the soul of Home at Last, a song that takes Homer's Odyssey and reinterprets it through the smooth, knowing lens of late 70s Steely Dan. Ulysses may have survived the high seas and the wrath of the gods, but even after reaching shore, there is the lingering question, does he ever truly feel at home? That restless undercurrent is woven into the music itself. Bernard Purdie's iconic Purdie Shuffle carries the track at grooves so fluid and hypnotic that it became the gold standard for drummers chasing that perfect halftime swing. It is the same rhythmic DNA that would later define songs like Rosanna by Toto, but in Home at Last, it moves with the laid-back, world-weary ease as if the song itself has been traveling too long to rush anything now. Donald Fagen's delivery is sly and detached, like the storyteller who has already learned the lesson but knows you have to take the trip yourself. The piano chords shimmer, the horns swell at just the right moments, and the entire arrangement feels effortless. Now you know this is not a bot talking. But Steely Dan never did anything halfway. Every note, every pause, every shuffle in the groove is precisely where it needs to be. Beneath it all, there is that lingering question. Ulysses makes it back, but something in the way Fagen sings suggests that home is more of a concept than a place. Maybe it is a destination we never quite reach. Maybe it is just a moment, a song that plays, a groove that settles in, and for a few minutes, everything feels exactly right. Some songs slip under the radar, not because they lack brilliance, but because they exist in the shadows of giants. I Got the News is one of those tracks. Tucked into Aja between two titanic cuts, it does not scream for attention. Instead, it slides in with a knowing grin, a deep pocket groove, and a rhythm section so tight it could stop on a dime and still land on the one. This is Steely Dan at their most playful. The lyrics are cryptic, as always, leaving just enough breadcrumbs for listeners to follow without ever handing over the full story. It is an inside joke, a surreal love letter, a sly commentary wrapped in wordplay. That is part of the charm. The ambiguity keeps you coming back, listening closer, trying to crack the code. Musically, it is a masterclass in controlled chaos. Man, I live that world every day. Let me say that again. Musically, it is a masterclass in controlled chaos. The chord progressions are pure Steely Dan, intricate, unexpected, yet effortlessly smooth. Stacked harmonies glide over sharp rhythmic changes, with Donald Fagen's vocals slipping between detached cool and sly amusement. Every instrument locks into place, pushing forward with a syncopated pulse that makes it impossible to sit still. And then there is that groove. It is the kind of rhythm that does not just move, it breathes. The way the bass and drums interlock creates a rolling sensation, a momentum that feels both relaxed and urgent at the same time. It is jazz, it is funk, it is Steely Dan doing what only they can do. For those who know, I Got the News is a hidden treasure. It may not be the track that gets name dropped first, but for the ones who dig deeper, it is the kind of song that stays with you, the kind that keeps revealing something new, no matter how many times you spin it. Every great album needs the perfect closing statement. Josie is that moment on Aja, a curtain call with swagger, a final sip of something strong just before heading out into the night. It is a song that does not just end the album, it punctuates it, wrapping up the journey with a groove that is impossible to ignore. Who's Josie? Steely Dan never hands out straight answers, but we know this much. When she comes back to town, everything changes. The neighborhood comes alive, the parties kick off, the energy shifts, and suddenly, the air crackles with something electric. She is a legend, a ghost, a fleeting muse who disappears just as quickly as she arrives. Maybe she is real. Maybe she is an idea, a symbol of youth, recklessness, and the kind of nights you never forget. Musically, Josie is a masterclass in controlled excitement. The intricate guitar work is razor sharp, slicing through the groove with effortless precision. Layered percussion gives the track an irresistible bounce, locking in with a bass line that moves like it is somewhere to be. It is funky without being obvious, smooth without losing its edge. And then there are those harmonies, stacked like bricks, solid and unwavering, adding depth to every chorus. By the time the final notes hit, Aja has said everything it needs to say. The journey is complete, and Josie makes sure you leave with the rhythm still knocking around in your head. It is the sound of an ending done right, the kind that makes you want to go back and start all over again. When you listen to Steely Dan's Aja, you're not just hearing an album, you're stepping into a world where every note is meticulously crafted and every instrument carries weight. It's like finding a hidden gem in a vintage record store, one that doesn't just shine in the moment, but continues to reveal new layers with every listen. This album has that rare power to evolve, to never quite give you everything you thought you understood. As a lifelong enthusiast of music, I found that Aja is one of those rare records that transforms your listening experience. You don't just play with it, you live with it. Whether you're a musician looking for inspiration, an audiophile testing the limits of your system, or a collector on the hunt for that perfect pressing, Aja becomes more than a collection of songs. It's an obsession. Every time the needle drops, it's like uncovering a new dimension of sound. Aja is more than just music. It's a conversation that never ends, a reference point for every musician who's ever heard it. It's a record that lives on, continuing to inspire, surprise, and challenge us. So, the next time you have a chance, experience the magic for yourself. Whether it's the first time or the 100th, Aja will always offer something new to discover. It's a gift that keeps on giving, an obsession that never fades. Experience the music. That's it for today's episode of Life in Motion. If you like this, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram for more real talk on music, food, travel, and baseball. Both links are available in the description below.